Hi TPT sellers, I'm going to share my ideas about what I think the point of a TPT blog is. You know how in teaching, everyone has gone through the education system, so then everyone has an opinion about the education system based on our experiences growing up? It's kind of like that with websites. Everyone has been to a website. Everyone has seen another TPT seller's blog. And so we have ideas about what a TPT blog looks like. I'm going to share some views. Some of you are going to agree. Some of you are going to disagree. I'd love to chat with you in the comments. I think when we're starting our TPT stores, we should look at other TPT stores ahead of the game to see what a good TPT store looks like. There are certain best practices in TPT land, like using mock-ups of images, making keywords really easy to read. There's a certain artistic style that we have in product covers. If you're a new store and your store doesn't look like what buyers are used to seeing, then they start thinking, well, this doesn't look like it's a well-maintained store. I'm not going to take it very seriously. On the other hand, I don't think we should be looking at other TPT blogs to see what they're doing with their websites, because then we think that our website should look like that right from the beginning. And of course it doesn't. Just because you see some TPT sellers doing certain things, it doesn't mean it's good for you to do. We're used to all sorts of features on websites, bells and whistles. I think when we're just starting our TPT blog, we need to think about what our goal is before we start. This is completely opposite to my usual advice, which is just start and then figure things out along the way, right? Launch at 80% perfect. It's good enough. Get it out the door and get feedback. But I'd like to think a little bit about the point of a website before we start. And then once you have an idea about what you're trying to do with your TPT business website or your TPT blog, then I think just start and figure things out along the way. If you've started a TPT blog or a TPT seller website, leave a comment below with what's your strategy. What's your point? Why do you have a TPT website? If your goal is just to get traffic, you might be better off going into Facebook groups where you're allowed to link to freebies and then offering a great lead magnet, which upsells to a bundle. Watch this video up here to see what I mean about upselling to a bundle. Now, I have to warn you, I am obviously biased. I have my own web hosting company and I have my own web design company designed for TPT sellers. So obviously I'm invested in this approach. You should take everything I say with a grain of salt. It doesn't mean that my opinions are wrong, but clearly I'm financially motivated to believe in what I believe. But that's true with a lot of businesses. When you see TPT sellers or other teacherpreneurs promoting a product, the big question is always, well, how do they benefit? Maybe there's an affiliate program that they're not telling you about. Maybe they know the owner of the company. Maybe they just believe really passionately. But especially in this make money online niche, we have to be a little bit aware of people's perspectives and hidden agendas. Is it still a hidden agenda if you tell people that you're biased? But of course, everyone is biased because we have confirmation bias. So for the next little bit, I invite us all to put aside what we think a TPT blog should look like. And likewise, when I'm reading your comments, I'll try to put aside what I think a TPT blog should look like to think about your point of view. And the question always I have is, what am I missing? I'm going to share what I think a TPT blog should do, and then you tell me what I'm missing in the comments. I love TPT because it's a social emotional learning real life project for teachers. It's a chance to learn about ourselves on our journey towards financial freedom. Obviously, you do you, and we make business decisions based on the best information that we have at the time. It's okay to pivot and change your mind as you get more information. Likewise, as I get information from you in the comments, it's okay for me to pivot and change my mind. What do we not know yet? This video is for TPT Hamsters and TPT Hawks. If you're a TPT egg or TPT tadpole, just start, work on products, creating stuff, figure out how to make a good product. But hamsters who are cranking out products and hawks who are thinking about the business side of their teacherpreneur adventure, we need to think about building on our own land. And that means buying a domain and setting up a website that we control. My overall strategy right now is to bring my own buyers to my TPT store because my sales are tanking. I'm down by $2,000 compared to last year at this time. Here's my TPT blog strategy. My goal is to get in front of teachers who are searching on Google for help in my TPT niche. I want to get in front of grade 7 and grade 8 teachers, English language arts, reading strategies. Once I get in front of them, the goal is for my search engine snippet to speak to the teacher, and they're like, yeah, that's exactly what I'm looking for. They go to my TPT blog. When I say TPT blog, I mean a website. Once they're on the TPT blog, I explain how I can solve a problem for them, and then eventually they click on a link that goes to my TPT product page. And hopefully, because I brought targeted traffic to my TPT product page, they're like, yeah, this is exactly what I'm looking for, and they buy. The second strategy with my TPT blog is once I have people there and they're interested in the kind of stuff I'm writing about, well, I'd like to get to know them better and vice versa, and I do that through an email list. So you offer an incredible freebie. Check out this video to see what I mean. They sign up for the newsletter to get the freebie. Maybe you have a funnel where you walk them through some of your other free resources. At the end, you do a soft sale where you talk about some of the other resources you have. So from the email list, we cultivate that relationship and we offer them opportunities to go to our TPT product page. Again, we're bringing our own buyers to our TPT product page. And because we've nurtured that relationship with them, they trust us, and then hopefully that leads to sales. There's nothing wrong with sales. Here's the value of my resource. Here's the price of my resource. If I explain how the value of my resource is so much higher than the price of the resource, well, then that difference makes it a no-brainer for teachers to buy a resource. On the other hand, if I don't do a good job of explaining what's in the resource, well, then the price might just seem too high and then they don't buy. My goal with my TPT blog is to build on land that I own, so my domain name, and I'm trying to create content so that when my ideal customer avatar arrives, they see that I have experience, I know what I'm talking about, I have expertise, I'm clearly an authority in this area, and they start to trust me because I'm consistent. I'm consistent in what I produce and the kinds of content that I create. And that's exactly what they want. That's my ideal customer avatar, because if they don't want that, they'll have unsubscribed or they'll have bounced away. So I'm focusing my message to try to build trust. Kind of like how on this SEOTpreneur YouTube channel, I do a lot of data analysis. I only talk about TPT. I'm not talking about other teacherpreneur marketplaces. I'm not talking about tutoring. I'm very focused in my message. When you see my thumbnail, you know what you're going to get. I used to say there were two parts to making a website. One was the domain name, and you have to find a domain registrar to register your domain name. And the other part is a web host. I only use WordPress. I don't use Wix. I don't use Squarespace. Wix and Squarespace are proprietary operating systems. That means that one day, if you don't like Wix, you can't leave that company and just import your Wix website into a WordPress web host. Whereas there are lots of web hosting companies and WordPress is free software. Renting computer space to run that free software, that costs money. But WordPress itself is open source, which means there's a huge community that creates content for WordPress. And there's so many businesses that hyper-focus on a theme or a plugin, and they do that plugin really well. Whereas Wix, if they don't have what you need, you can't get them to add something. It's not like on WordPress, if I don't like this theme, I can go find a different theme. If I'm looking for this feature, I can go find a plugin. So I only deal with WordPress. After having a number of clients with different web hosting companies, I only use my web hosting company because I know what you get with cheap shared hosting. The cheapest plans on Bluehost on SiteGround are shared hosting plans. You get an underpowered server. You don't have to go with me. If you don't want to go with my web hosting company, you can go where I buy web hosting, which is a company called WPMU Dev. I've been using them forever. I'm a reseller for them, which basically means I take their product at wholesale. I add my bells and whistles, so premium licenses, and then I market that to TPT sellers. You could use WPMU Dev if you're tech savvy. And this is hands down way better than any shared hosting because you get dedicated resources. So yeah, I used to say there were two things you needed: a domain registrar and a WordPress hosting company. Now I've learned that I have to explain there are 4 things you need if you want a TPT blog or any website. You need to buy a domain, and we do that through a domain registrar. you need to run WordPress. And so you need to rent server space on a web hosting company. You're going to need someone to set up the themes and the plugin and to put content on your website. Once you have this website, you're going to need to maintain it. So someone's going to have to update the code. Someone's going to have to update content. If things break, someone's going to have to fix those things. The bottom two things here, if you're tech savvy, you can do yourself. What I didn't realize was because I can do this part by myself, the themes and the plugins and maintaining the website, I never really thought about that as something that TPT sellers had to do. But now I explained that it's not just having a WordPress website, you actually have to put the content in and maintain it. It's kind of like a garden. You can have a beautiful flower garden and plant the seeds, but you've got to water it. You've got to take care of the weeds. You've got to stop bunnies from eating your vegetable garden, that kind of stuff. The top two things you're going to have to pay money for. You're going to have to pay a company to register your domain name. You're going to have to pay a company to run WordPress for you. And that might be WordPress.com. You can pay Automatic to do that. Or you can pay web hosting companies like SEOT hosting. So I take web hosting from WPMU Dev and I add some premium plugins and I sell that to TPT sellers. Yep, you could buy directly from WPMU Dev, but then you're missing out. My unfair advantage is I coach TPT sellers to get the most out of their TPT blogs. So this is what I get with WPMU Dev. You get the same amount of RAM, you get the same amount of dedicated PHP workers. If you're using a shared hosting plan with Bluehost or SiteGround, like most TPT sellers are, because that's what they're told to do, because that's the cheapest option, you don't get dedicated PHP workers only for your site. So when other shared websites on your hosting platform are resource intensive, they are taking away power from your website. WPMU Dev just offers dedicated resources, which is awesome. My unfair advantage is I offer a free lifetime.com domain name as long as you're with me. I offer the premium agency level elite all-in-one SEO plugin, which no TPT seller is using because the elite version costs $300. But that's what you need to be able to access Google Search Console data from your WordPress dashboard. I offer the premium Monster Insights license to make Google Analytics easier. I offer the business level WP Activity Log plugin, which tracks all the changes that you make or that person you hired from Fiverr to fix your website. Who knows what they're actually doing? So the activity log lets us see what people are doing. And if you're on the Grande plan, you get Link Whisper, which is an unfair advantage to do internal backlinking. And internal backlinking is an SEO boost. So even though you could buy from WPMU directly, you're not getting the Mike coaching time to help you get the most out of your website. You're not getting the premium versions of all-in-one SEO or Monster Insights or WP Activity Log or Link Whisper, because that's what I've learned I need to be successful, and that's what I use with my clients. Then I realized that setting up the domain and the web hosting power isn't enough. Teachers don't know where to start with WordPress. So that's why I came up with TEACHERpreneur.VIP, where we basically do 16 important things that most TPT sellers had no idea they had to do if they want an advantage. So that's why I'm able to give away all of my data ideas and all of my TPT seller tips and tricks for free, because that's not my primary business model. My primary business model is web hosting, because I know if I can get you excited about being a TPT seller and you start to see results, eventually the long game, you're going to need solid web hosting. And hopefully by that point, we have a relationship, I've built some trust, and when you're ready, we'll start you on SEOT hosting. You still have to maintain your website where you add content or you update your plugins. I mean, SEOT hosting can do it for you, but it's not worth it. I have a maintenance plan because I have some small business clients, brick and mortar businesses, where it's not worth their time to do all that nitty gritty stuff. But for teacherpreneurs at our stage of the game, we have to be thinking about where we're investing our time and money. So far, we have 20 sites and we're growing. We do these 16 steps that most people had no idea they had to do. And my TPT blog strategy is don't have an amazing site. Crazy, right? I think when we're starting our TPT blog, we should not want an amazing site. This is why I say don't look at other TPT sellers to see what they're doing with their websites, because what they're doing with their website may not fit your strategy. For me, the point of a TPT blog or a teacherpreneur website is get indexed on Google, rank on Google, get search traffic to your TPT blog, build that trust, show that you know what you're talking about, send that traffic to your TPT product page, and then they convert into sales. Obviously, I'm oversimplifying things. It's actually very hard to figure out who converts. UTMs aren't what they used to be. TPT doesn't always track UTMs correctly. I don't want to have an amazing site. I want to have words on my site to build EAT. Google's crawling your page. It understands meaning and search intent. It understands the words on your pages. It understands how links are structured. It's a popularity contest. It's looking to see if you're coming up with original content. You have to demonstrate that you know what you're talking about. Google uses algorithms. But Google has human reviewers that use this EAT principle to see how well the algorithm is actually ranking stuff. So this TPT blog series is to try to jumpstart my TPT blogs, plural, to build up my email list and to send my own buyers to TPT. For me personally, I say no to Google Ads. Because when someone lands on your TPT site and they see a bunch of ads, it's just not classy. It erodes at the trust that you have. How do I know this? Okay, well, does Amazon run ads for competitors? Well, why not? Because they want all of their traffic to be focused on their call to action, which is buy from Amazon. And our call to action is either sign up for the email newsletter or click on this link and go to our TPT product page. So Google Ads are eroding away at the trust that you're trying to build. It's watering down your call to action. I know you're saying, well, I'm just going to try Google Ads to see if I can make any extra money. You're not going to. Pop-up ads are annoying. And this pop-up ad could be advertising my email list. This is my SEOT.ca for teachers to use with their students. I run ads on this website to annoy the teachers so that they get the slideshow lesson that's here for free. How much money have I made from this SEOT.ca website? In the last 30 days, I've made $5. If a teacher were to buy the goal setting resource, which has the slideshow plus the handouts, I'd make around $8. So to be clear, this SEOT website is for teachers to show the slideshow. I'm not trying to sell my TPT products from here. I am, but it's a soft sell. That's why I'm running Google Ads. The money that you make from Google Ads is going to be negligible on your TPT blog. If someone's going to click on the ad, wouldn't you rather want them to click on your TPT product and buy the TPT product? Google Ads also slows down your site. There's just more baggage and things to load. Say no to affiliate links. The point of a TPT blog is to sell your TPT products. Don't try to sell Amazon products. Don't send your traffic somewhere else. My strategy is just email list and TPT product page. This one's going to be controversial, but I think we should say no to running an e-commerce site. And that's controversial because so many TPT sellers have an e-commerce store. Maybe they try to set up WooCommerce, which is an incredibly powerful and resource-heavy website. I've heard so many people say, oh, I chatted with my web designer on Fiverr, and they said Hostinger or Bluehost would be good enough. That's because they're coming from it from the perspective of a web designer. Their goal is to sell you on web design. They don't care about the quality of the web hosting because if it's a slow web host, that doesn't matter to them. They're selling you the web design. Whereas I'm selling you the web hosting. I want fast web hosting with powerful SEO features and truly customizable things, which then makes sense why I'm biased against having very pretty bells and whistle kind of website. But the moment you run WooCommerce on your site, you slow down that entire website because WooCommerce is so resource intensive. And if you're sharing resources with a bunch of other websites on that server, like you are on the cheap plans with Bluehost and SiteGround, those are all shared plans. Even if the plan is called e-commerce, if it's cheap, it's on a shared web hosting plan. When you put an e-commerce store on your website, I think you're taking away sales from your TPT store. And those TPT sales lead to a snowball effect, which influences your TPT SEO. So you're watering down how quickly you can grow on TPT. Now I know what you're going to say. You're going to say, I'm a big seller and I have an e-commerce site because that's my insurance plan because I have to feed my family and I have lots of employees that I pay for. And you're thinking if TPT goes down tomorrow, at least I can still sell on my website. If you're worried about TPT going down and losing your business income, just go buy business interruption insurance. I'm not an insurance broker. This is not insurance advice. Go chat with a business broker or with your accountant. There are products on the market. If you Google business interruption insurance, You'll get products for your local area. Business interruption insurance is a form of insurance coverage that replaces business income lost as a result of a business interruption event. We don't need to run an e-commerce site because we're worried that TPT might go down one day. In the same way that I don't buy two houses and live in one sometimes and live in the other sometimes because I'm worried that a fire is going to burn down one house. That's why we have insurance. So if my strategy with my TPT blog is to get traffic from Google, then for me, I need to say yes to demonstrating that I have experience, expertise, authority, and build trust in this TPT niche. I need to build my email list. And yes, you're going to say you can have an email list without a website. And that's true. But if I create a ConvertKit email list on a landing page owned by ConvertKit, there's not going to be enough content on that to rank on Google. The point of an email sign-up form is to keep it simple, get the email address, click here, sign up. The point of a TPT blog is to demonstrate your expertise. My TPT blog sends traffic to my TPT product page because that's my sales mechanism. My strategy right now to bring my own buyers to TPT land. In the next episode, I'm going to show you an unfair advantage we have with TPT blogs that we don't have with our TPT product pages. We can see the exact keywords that people use to find us on Google to land on our TPT blog. We can start to optimize for those keywords and build that snowball. Check out this masterclass to find out more about my ideas about TPT blogs. YouTube thinks you should watch this video. And when you learn something new, please hit that like button or subscribe because it encourages me to create more content like this for you so that we all win.